I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Bishop?
Present.
Mrs. Congdon? Present. Mr. Jovian?
Excused.
Mr. Lazo?
Present.
Dr. Page?
Present.
Ms. Peliquin?
Present.
5 present, 1 excused.
We have a quorum. I'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Robert G. McKinnon Council Chamber, Tuesday, May 24th, 2016, 7 p.m. I'd like to call for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go on to the business at hand, I'd like to just have a moment of silence. The moment of silence is for Melanie Curran, who was a guidance counselor at SHS who passed on. God bless her, and she's in a better place, but I'd like to call for a moment of silence of the school committee. Thank you. Moving on to public input. Is there any public who would like to speak at this time or address the school committee? If there is nobody from the public at this time, we'll move on to discussion of the minutes of March 22nd, 2016 regular meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstention? I have to abstain. I wasn't here. It passes as far as the correction of the accuracy of the minutes. Moving on to chairman's announcements. Just got a couple of things. I missed, I'd like to thank Dr. Page for covering for me as chairman when I had to work late. I'd like to start out by saying I'd like to thank Tim Connors for a job well done, filling in as interim, capitalizing on a lot of his experiences, knowing his professional status and how he knew that he was not going to move mountains, but he was going to hold this district together until we had got the team on board, which is now on board. So I'd just like to say thank you very much to Tim and his wife, who was at the meetings. It was very pleasant to allow him to come out and play with us on Tuesday nights. But Tim's a great guy, and I wish him the best. Just one comment on the takeover. I missed the introduction of the new superintendent. The commissioner was here, and I make no bones about it, I'm no fan of the commissioner. But that doesn't reflect on the team that's here. The team that's here is here to straighten the district problems out, provide leadership, realignment, and various other things right down from the budget, policy, and a lot of the duties that we used to do. Remember, this school committee, people ran to change what was there. I think they are here to change also. We didn't have enough time to change it, but we can be part of the solution instead of remain as part of the problem. So I think as the chairman of the school committee, I can tell you, I'm looking forward. I met the principal. Again, I'm not a person that, I have 30-some years in government, and I don't jump into anybody's sandbox and say, this is the one, it's going to be a win. I think we have to work together. I think we have to embrace the superintendent and the team and become part of the team. So it's not just their team, it's Southbridge's team. And I think we're going to do that in the upcoming months. We have a graduation coming up. This is our first meeting together, and I'm sure that we'll work on the issues. But I think what we have to do is be a realist. We have to watch the budget numbers. The last school committee blew up the unemployment numbers to the point where the town council got mad at the schools district. We had legal fees that were blown up by the previous school committee that created an anger amongst the town councilors, and then the budget process was disastrous. I think with the new superintendent, and once everybody gets put in place, which she is in the process of putting people in place, and allow it to work. People just don't land in government and automatically would just change everything. There's a process and a procedure that she has to go through and that we have to go through, and we're going to continue to work together for the children and not forget that striving for excellence and putting kids first is the priority here. Also getting qualified teachers and qualified people in the district. I know I feel very optimistic, but again, I feel a little skeptical because of how many superintendents we went through and how many principals we went through and the disastrous school committee that we dealt with. That's not the same school committee. This is not the same superintendent. I feel very optimistic about what's going to happen moving forward. I hope the people of Southbridge get involved. Don't be afraid to come up to the podium and explain some of the things that are going on in our district. Call me, call our school committee members, have input, because the school committee can still be a pipeline to the superintendent to make her aware of some of the problems, and we could revert you to her and give, have meetings and stuff like that for the public. But I welcome you aboard, and I wish you the best, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I'm sure that the committee is on board with working together. I have no further announcements. I'd like to move on to new business. I'd like to have a budget update.
Thank you, Chairman Lazo, members of the board. I just want to say thank you so much for the incredibly warm reception that I've had here in Southbridge. I just want to thank members of the community, the town manager, the police chief, the fire chief, everyone that I've met has been incredible. The staff that I've met with, the students, the parents. It's been an incredibly wonderful first 3 weeks here in Southbridge. I do have some updates for you tonight. Last night, the town council, starting with the FY17 budget, approved the school department's budget, as well as the budget for all other town departments. The total allocation to the schools for next school year will be $26,133,400. This is a 2.2% increase over last year's. The allocation amount does not include an additional $300,000 in funding to support capital improvements. As you'll remember, the draft of the FY17 budget that was submitted to the Town Council on Thursday, March 31st, and presented to the Educational Health Services Subcommittee on April 26th. This was a really highly collaborative effort between the Department of Education, members of the faculty, staff, school leaders, and town leadership as well. I just want to thank personally Ventura Rodriguez from the Department of Education. He's just done an outstanding job working with the district to make sure that we have, the appropriate funding for next year. The draft budget was built really to align some key priorities that came out of the LSG, the local stakeholders group that was put together and facilitated by John Doria from Teachers 21 with the support of the Department of Education. And the key areas that this budget is going to be focusing on is increasing supports for ELL students. That was our #1 priority. Also to address behavior concerns and to address social and emotional learning across the district. Improving teaching and learning and start to address our student outcomes, as well as improving access to and the use of technology district-wide. In total, the FY17 budget includes a number of new positions that are school-based. We have a total of 10.5 school-based positions, 1 position at central office to coordinate school-based staff charged with clinical and guidance services to students for social and emotional supports. The new positions that were created were mostly done through redistribution of existing funds and the repurposing of existing but vacant positions. One thing that we want to do is continue to improve the school department's progress towards student outcomes, ensuring that our kids have access to a world-class education, that our kids are leaving and graduating college and career ready. But we need to do that in a fiscally responsible way, and that has been our goal throughout this budget process. We are going to be adding 3 more ELL teachers across the district to support English language learners, 1 at the middle school, 1 at the high school, and 1 at Eastford Road. One of the things that we've identified as an issue is the identification of ELL students. We've had to do some work in district to ensure that we're properly identifying ELL students, and we're making the adjustments in personnel to address those needs. Currently, we have 370 identified ELL students in the district, and this year we've only had 7 personnel that were able to service that many students. It's not enough. We're increasing that, as well as adding an ELL director to supervise the ELL department. And to address the significant concerns that have been raised by the community around social and emotional issues and school culture, the new director of social and emotional learning has started Her name is Nicole Murphy, and she has just done an outstanding job already of assessing our current supports and clinical services district-wide, and is already working with Harrington Hospital and also Bay Path to provide wraparound services and supports to families. And to support teaching and learning in the district, we've added 2 school-based positions. One is a STEM coordinator for the district, as well as a humanities coordinator that will provide content area support for teachers and leaders across the district to address some of the concerns in the district review report around the lack of curriculum that has been identified as a major issue. And also to address the technology issues, both the infrastructure and the use of technology in the classroom. We've added a director of technology, taking our former network engineer and expanding those responsibilities. And we've got an outstanding candidate who is our new director of technology, Jonathan Parent. And he is a former Southbridge graduate, class of 1999. And we're just excited to bring him home to support the schools. A question that may arise is whether or not the allocation from the town that was approved last night meets our needs in terms of the budget. We still have a budget gap of about $295,000. We are currently working closely with the Department of Education and with the Finance Department to address the deficit, and we're very confident we're going to be able to balance that in the next couple of weeks. And that's the overview on the budget. Are there any questions on that?
Moving on to 6B, Human Services Update.
Human Resources Update. This is a very exciting time for the Southbridge Public Schools. We have just engaged in a tremendous recruiting campaign to bring the very best school leaders and administrators here into the district. I want to just pass out to the board just to share with you the new organizational chart for the district. As you can see, we've reorganized central office somewhat. And again, these positions are not newly added with the exception of one, the Social and Emotional Learning Director. This is completely through reallocation. But underneath the receiver's position, we have the new Chief of Learning and Innovation that is formerly known as the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. Same position, different title. A little bit different responsibilities. We have a Director of Finance and Operations. Many of you may know, but Bill Littell will be stepping down at the end of June, and we'll be appointing a new Director of Finance, Human Resources, and Operations, and reorganizing that department to be more efficient. We also just hired a Director of Information and Educational Technology, Jonathan Parent. We have a new Director of English Language Learner Services, which we will be announcing the candidate, who is an outstanding candidate from another district, urban district, in the next couple of weeks. We have our Director of Pupil Personnel Services and our Director of Social and Emotional Learning. And those 4 positions, Director of IT, English Language Learners, Director of Pupil Personnel, and Director of Social and Emotional Learning, make up the teaching and learning team. And so their focus truly is on the whole child, ensuring that we are providing a world-class, again, education to ensure that our kids are engaged citizens in the community of Southbridge and that they are getting the skills that they need to be college and career ready when they graduate from Southbridge. So that makes up sort of our new organizational chart. Newly appointed high school principal, Dr. Andre Townsell. He was here yesterday at the school, beginning the process for the search for the new assistant principal. We have middle school and elementary principals have been given 1-year contracts. And again, our new Director of Information Systems Technology and Social and Emotional Learning. In the next week, we are going to be appointing the new assistant principals for the middle and high school. We have also done some shifting of positions. The IRS positions at the middle and high school are going to be shifted to assistant principals. So Southbridge Middle and Southbridge High School will have 2 assistant principals on each side of the building to support supervision and evaluation. So again, it's just a reallocation of funds so that we can have stronger administrative support at the middle and high school. We do still have a vacant position, human resource manager and executive assistant, and we will be starting the process of staff non-renewal notifications in the coming days. Any questions on HR? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Dr. Heisinger. Will there be accompanying job descriptions for each of the positions?
We have them. I can forward them to you.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
In the follow-up, can we have, in other words, the reconstruction or reallocation or whatever of the positions, could we have job descriptions and salary lines so we could just further understand at some point when, maybe years from now it gets handed over, to understand and monitor how we're going to mount and dismount? And right now we're creating and just to understand why, when, so this way here we have a pulse anyways of what's going on.
Yes, sir.
But we'll work on that. I'll stop in the office. If we could, it would really be good information for us.
Yep.
Mr. Bishop?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Do we have a current line item budget for next year? Has that been established? So an actual line item budget of salaries and all of that? Or is that not created yet?
There is a line item budget.
There is.
We are in the process of still shifting
Okay.
things around due to the
But
budget deficit.
we'll get one at some point?
Yes, once that's finalized.
Thank you.
We'll have that to you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, moving on to 6C, recruitment update.
Great. So again, one of the strategies as a part of the turnaround process is to really engage in strong recruitment of high-quality teachers and leaders from across the country, not just locally, but from across the country. Also, not just the recruitment of them, but the retainment of them and the development of them. So that's one key strategy in the turnaround plan that will be coming. So as a part of this, we have planned an upcoming career fair that we're going to have here in Southbridge that we have been marketing all over the nation through variety of social media outlets and job posting. And that will be at the middle high school on the 31st of May from 4 to 7 p.m. We have publicized this in the Telegram Gazette, Stonebridge Press, Worcester Magazine, Millbury Sutton Chronicle, The Landmark, Leominster Champion, Grafton, the Worcester Mornings with Jim Polito. Everywhere and anywhere we can get the word out about the great things happening here in Southbridge, we have been publicizing this week. We also have been posting faculty vacancies on School Spring. To date, we have 617 teacher applications for the vacant openings that we've posted, which is just outstanding, the number of applicants we're getting. So it seems like our campaign is working, and we've sent out a district recruitment newsletter. It's our first ever to multiple sites in colleges all over the Commonwealth, from Worcester State, Wheelock, Amherst, UMass Boston, Wellesley, Holy Cross, Clark, Assumption, WPI. We've sent it up UMass Lowell, Gordon College, UMass Boston, Bridgewater State, so Salem State, all the educational programs we have also sent the recruitment fair to. Any questions on?
Is there any questions? If not, moving on to end of the year report update.
Great. So lots of wonderful things happening around the community in Southbridge at the end of the year in our schools. We have several students who are graduating from out-of-district placements in the special education department, and we had a wonderful event on Wednesday the 18th at Cole Ave, a transition fair, which brought in organizations from all over the area that engage in partnerships with us or are looking to strengthen partnerships with the Southbridge Public Schools. Quinsigamond Community College was there, Mass Rehab Commission, U Inc., Workforce Central Career Center, and the Seven Hills Foundation were there for the community members to come in and to understand the services that are offered and provided by these wonderful partners. So that was a great event. I was able to attend and meet many of our partners. The middle school upcoming is the 8th grade dinner dance. I got to go to prom last Friday. That was awesome. I had a really great time with the kids. They all looked beautiful. The girls were beautiful, the boys were handsome, and just an incredibly wonderful event. It was nice to be there. And the 8th grade awards are going to be Monday, June 13th. We have an 8th grade field trip coming up to Camp Foskett. And then we're having Rise Up Day. 5th graders are going to be coming to the middle school to visit and to have their Step Up Day on Tuesday, June 7th. And we have a field day carnival on June 14th at the middle school. All the elementary activities, too many to list, but they're all on the district website. Many activities ranging from student activities to family activities going on at Eastward Road, West Street. We have our Career Day at West Street upcoming, and I'm actually speaking at Career Day in Charleston Street next week on Friday. Excited. It'll be my first Career Day. And I'm sure not my last, but I'm very excited to be a part of that. So lots of great end-of-year events that are coming up. Any questions on end-of-year?
There are no questions. We'll move on to the high school graduation, 6E.
Outstanding. Okay, so this is a very exciting time for high school seniors graduating from Southbridge High School. You know, it's a very special time. I know my own daughter's graduating from Burlington High School this year. But Tuesday, May 24th to Friday, May 27th are finals for seniors. So they're finishing up. There's award and scholarship night on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 6:30. And that's June 1st. And then graduation is Friday, June 3rd. I invite all of you to join us at graduation. It should be a wonderful event at 6 p.m. at the high school on Torrey Road. And the high school will be, graduation will be held indoors this year. Any questions?
Just a comment, I happened to be at the high school signing the diplomas. There's 125 diplomas going out, MCAS passed, and very, very proud of the accomplishment and exciting to be a part of it. But we wish them the best, and we'll see you on graduation day. Moving on to 6F, the next school committee meeting, Tuesday, June 21st, 2016, 7 p.m. This is a suggested date. Does anybody have a conflict? Mr. Bishop?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm not going to be able to attend that meeting. I know we're having, quorum can sometimes be an issue. Is it possible that we would all be available the following evening on the 22nd? I know that Dr. H, I'm going to call, I haven't got his last name down quite yet.
That's okay.
Is everybody all right with the 23rd? On a Wednesday?
22nd.
It's the
22nd?
Excuse me?
22nd.
The 22nd?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday the
Wednesday the 22nd? I know that the receiver wants to have the entire new personnel, as new principals and that type of stuff come in. I'd really like to be here to meet those folks. I apologize, I had booked something, I didn't know when the dates were going to be.
No problem. The next meeting date will be Tuesday, June 22nd, 2016, 7 p.m.
Wednesday.
Excuse me, Wednesday, I'm sorry. Let me amend that before I come
Great.
to the wrong
No,
meeting.
thank you so much for your flexibility. I'm very excited. We're going to introduce all the new members of the leadership team that you see reflected on the org chart. And there will be updates from the department heads so that you can hear a little bit about the work that has been going on. And we'll update you as well on the turnaround plan release, because that should be released probably by the end of that week.
Thank
you to my fellow members.
Moving on to agenda item number 7, the individual members' discussion regarding charter school legislation. I know that one of the committee members have carried the ball on this. That's Amelia Peliquin, and I don't know if you want me to turn it over to you or...
Sure, I can say a few words
Go
about
ahead.
it if you want. Okay, so I requested this agenda item because there is a ballot initiative coming this fall to get rid of the cap on charter schools in Massachusetts, and I believe as a public school committee member, this is going to be extremely detrimental to public school finances. As you may know, schools, charter schools get $12,000 per student from a public school district, so it's even more detrimental financially than school choice would be if we had a public school, a charter school in our area. And I know that we can't, I guess we can't vote on a resolution due to the receivership, so I would like to discuss what we may be able to do as an alternative, whether we can all sign a letter together or sign individual letters, but I would like us to publicly take a stance on this issue. This is something that school committees across the state are doing, and I would like us to be able to still hold public opinions on issues that are of importance.
We cannot vote on it because of the receivership, but what we can do is discuss it, formulate a letter, and sign it in support of one side or the other, or abstain from it. I'll just open up the discussion to the floor to see the feeling of the school committee, if anybody has any. Mr. Bishop?
I just have a question. You seem to be in the forefront of this. Do you know where our state rep and our state senate Senator stand on this issue?
I believe they are in support of getting rid of the cap on charter schools.
I
Yeah.
assume that to be so.
That might be a good avenue to, I would like to address it to whom it may concern, so we can send it out to our state representatives and the media as well, in addition to the campaign to save our public schools. But I feel very importantly that as a board, we are working very hard to provide the best public education to all students, and charter schools do not serve all students. Only 4% of students in Massachusetts go to charter schools, and I believe because they are preferentially funded, you have never heard of a charter school that had to deal with budget cuts, that it is just not a fair system, and we need to look out for the other 96% of students that are going to traditional public schools like ours.
Any other questions or suggestions? For the public, could you explain that what the legislation does? Is it for or against the actual, I mean, I know, but for the public input?
Sure. Right now, there is a cap on the number of charter schools that can be opened in Massachusetts. It's set by DESE, and what this legislation do is if you voted in favor of the ballot question, it would lift the cap, and which would lead to a greater number of charter schools. I believe they would kind of, the charter school industry has very deep pockets. They're putting $18 million behind this budget, this ballot question, because they want to make money operating privatized public schools. And what this ballot question does, if you are in opposition to it, then you are basically saying you want to keep the status quo in terms of charter schools in Massachusetts. You want there to be a cap. You can't open them willy-nilly. You have to go through a rigorous screening process to open a charter school. You can only open them in districts where there's a need. And I believe really strongly that we should oppose lifting the cap on charter schools as a board.
Any other questions, suggestions? Dr. Page?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you that I haven't kept up with the most recent sort of issue with that as much as I would like to, but in general, my opinion on the matter is that I don't think charter schools are a good idea. I think it's basically a dilution of public resources, and it's basically creating semi-private organizations that are taking public money that could be spent somewhere else to basically circumvent some issues that are related with running public schools. I think the state should figure out a way to adjust the laws and maybe figure out a way to run public schools a little more efficiently, and then we won't need charter schools. And if you want to have private schools, that's fine, but public money shouldn't be spent in that direction, in my opinion.
Any other comments? The only thing I would suggest, Committee Member Peliquin, is if you want to formulate the letter and approach the school committee members. I mean, I know I'm not in favor of charter schools. I believe in oversight and accountability of a school committee or using public funds, and there isn't any oversight, basically. So to me, I have issues with some of it also. I agree with Dr. Page. So the way I would approach it is if you could formulate the letter, which I'm sure that it's probably already formulated, and if we sign on, we sign on. Okay.
So I will, should I approach the committee members individually to apply and get their, okay, because I'm concerned, I don't want to be seen as circumventing the open meeting law, so.
That's fine.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Moving on to members forum. Here's where the members can bring anything forward. Any members have anything to bring forward at this time? Did you want to say something about Tim Garner's? I know you raised your hand. You raised your hand at the chairman's forum.
I have a couple of things.
Go ahead.
Let me just go through my list. Jessica, I'm really excited to hear that you are going to be participating in Career Day. I'm going to be participating in Career Day as well, and I'm so excited to talk to the kids about what I do. I'm not only a school committee member, I'm also very active in my political party. I'm part of a young elected officials network nationally. I represent people with disabilities for the Democrats. I'm a member of the LGBT caucus of the Young Dems of Massachusetts. So I feel like I've got a lot to talk about in terms of like how public service affects your daily life and how it matters to everybody, including children. So I'm really looking forward to talking to the kids. The other thing I wanted to mention going on at West Street School on Thursday is the kids are having a vocabulary parade. Every child was assigned a certain vocabulary word, and they had to make an artistic sign representing their vocabulary word, and they're also going to be wearing costumes to represent the word, and that's going to be happening at 1:30 p.m. at West Street School. The other thing, oh yes, I did want to see if we could maybe send him a card or something, because he has done such a tremendous job for our school district, and I'd love to send him like a card or a note or something from the committee thanking him for his service. The other thing is I was really interested in the email that the Director of Technology, Jonathan Parent, sent out. So I'm excited to hear that these people will be coming in and presenting to us, because there was a lot of exciting news about what's going on with technology in the district in that email. So I'm excited to share that with the community. And one other thing I did want to talk about, and this is actually very important to me, something I felt like we haven't dealt with yet that we really need to deal with is the vacancy that we have on our board. I know Mr. Olivo is no longer with us, but in getting my papers into the town clerk and everything to get on the ballot for this coming June election, I realized that Mr. Olivo never officially resigned from the position with the town clerk. So as far as the letter of the law, he's still a member of the board. And although I thank him for his service, I would like to impress upon you guys the importance of having a full and functioning board throughout the duration of the receivership. It's something that's very important to me. So
well, there's nothing we can do outside of, I dropped a call to him and explained maybe he was confused in the process that when he tells us that he's resigning, there's actually a formal resignation to the clerk's office.
Right.
So, but as far as a political body, we don't have, in other words, we can't say you're gone and we're in. So
I mean, he's an elected official.
Yeah, he still is an elected official. He's still on the school committee, and I have a call into him to have a talk about, maybe following through with whatever, if that's what he wants to do. And if he doesn't want to and he wants to stay on, then we'll talk about that. But I'll have an answer by the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion, committee members? Dr. Page?
Yeah, I would also like to, for the record, thank Mr. Connors for what he did. He came in and sort of filled a very important vacancy for us at an incredibly important and difficult time. And I entrust that he was probably very instrumental in helping Dr. Huizenga get up to speed more quickly than she would have otherwise had there not been somebody in that position. So thank you very much to Mr. Connors. And again, I don't know if I've said this before, this is the first time you're actually sitting here while I've been here, so I would like to welcome you. You have our support, very much so, and we want the same thing that you do and the commissioner and everybody else in this town, and that is to get this school system on a good track. One of the big issues that is going to be important for me to sort of keep an eye on and see how things evolve over the next couple of years is to make sure that the changes that are made and the things that you're doing, and I think it's a good start, is that it's sustainable. It is sustainable after you're gone, in the sense that you're making some structural changes, some positions are being moved around and so forth, and we're already looking at a several $100,000 budgetary shortfall. My concern is if those funds are not able to be reallocated, that it's going to have to come from teachers or other kind of resources for the students and so forth. So I just wanted to mention that as a concern that I would have as a sustainability as things move forward. But again, I think some really great things are happening, and I'm happy to see it.
Mr. Bishop?
Thank you, Steve. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Huizenga. We had a great meeting last week. Committeeman Congdon and I, it was great to sit down and look for the future, not try to litigate the past. I will be calling you for a follow-up meeting, but we'll let you figure out what's going on first. It's been a crazy time for you. So I do appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Also, I'd like to take a moment to thank the members of the high school band and Dr. Garcia, who participated in our bicentennial parade, and they'll be participating Monday in the Memorial Day observances. So I want to thank those young people for giving up their free time to come out and represent our district and our community in a very positive light. And the only other thing I had is you mentioned that you had a group meeting with social service agencies. Is there any movement or discussion of the Upward Bound program that we had, and then we lost it because it became successful, too successful.
Right. So the other day at the transition fair, I was able to connect with U Inc. again,
Okay.
and we're going to be setting up a meeting in the next few weeks to discuss that very thing.
That was a very good program.
Yes, excellent program.
Thank you. I'm set.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also wanted to say that I also got to meet with Dr. Heisinger last week. I admire her passion coming to the district and her drive. It was refreshing to see her energy. It's been a long 3 years for me, sitting here on the school committee. And she also talked about trust, and trust is a huge thing sitting in the position that she's sitting in order to be able to accomplish what she wants to accomplish in this district, is the trust from the staff, both ways, and the trust from the community, again, putting that trust in our school district. And I think that's a huge challenge that the school district faces in retaining students and bringing students back to the district. And I just want to say that I fully support your being here, and any way I can help and assist you, that would be great. And I look forward to working with you, even though in June, it's my last meeting. Work is now my top priority. I'm a lot busier now, so circumstances change. But I just want to wish you all the luck, and it's nice to see how driven you are to get our district to where it should be, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Just a quick comment. I agree with Dr. Page, but something came to me when, the sustainability is the most important thing when you create something, is to continue its consistency. I understand this is a receivership, but what if can we keep you if everything goes, or are you going to go away after the receivership? Or do we not know that yet?
No, I mean,
Dr. Page made it sound like, well, the receivership's done and you're done. I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, what if this works?
And if it works, it works. Good. I've really thoroughly enjoyed the first 3 weeks, and the reception I've received, the support has just been amazing, and I haven't had this much fun. It's challenging, and every day, we're solving problems, and, we're tackling issues, but, it's incredible work. There's amazing people here. There are educators who want to do the very, very best by our kids, and there's a community that really desires to have our schools be a center of hope again. And that's what I want for this community. It can be the choice district of Southern Worcester County. I have no doubt about that, and I'm confident that together we can get there. So, no, I don't think receivership puts any limits.
I think this community has been a community that takes ownership to their leadership when it's good leadership. And I remember when Dr. Hanley was here, we didn't want her to go. She chose to go into retirement. But, when a working relationship, everybody in the team concept is very important. And this town here really takes ownership to the leadership, and we don't want to let you go. If things work out well, we'd like to keep you.
Well, I'd like to stay.
Thank you. Anything else on the committee forum? Nothing else on the committee forum? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a motion to adjourn, second. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. We're adjourned.